Hello, YouTubers. This will be a short one because I have books in front of me. I have a lot going on. Even though I took my personal training certification test today, I have consultations coming up and I have new clients starting this week. Yay. So it's gonna be pretty busy for me, so I'm just going from one thing to the next. Next thing coming up is my wellness coach certification. I'll be in New York for like a week in April, so I gotta start getting ready for that. But anyway, excuse the pile of clothes in the background. I've been in class all weekend, so I ain't done folded nothing. They sit in the corner. I'm human. I got 2 jobs and I'm starting a business. You should get it. Anyway, this week I wanted to talk about pushing past disappointments. I think that I have learned a couple of things about being in service, because that's pretty much what I'm in. It's a service industry. I've learned a couple of things about being in the service industry this weekend that I probably should have known since I've been a patron of the service industry for the last 6 years. Today is my 6-year fitversary. I've been on my fitness journey for a very long time, and I've had trainers who I stopped going to see because either I got discouraged or I didn't want to spend the money. You know, I had people who were trying to push me to start working out and I didn't want to, or, you know, I would start a plan and I wouldn't finish it. So I wanted to talk about pushing past your disappointments, pushing past your fear. Somebody told me, feel the fear and do it anyway. And they told me that recently, and it really has been something that I have been actively practicing for the past 2 months. Starting my business and taking on clients and taking my personal training certification, going out on a limb and pursuing this wellness nurse coaching, getting my LLC, getting my EIN, opening this Instagram page, and even having a public page where basically the world or whoever wants to see me can see me, are things that I have been uncomfortable with, and it's been a very eye-opening experience for me. It's helped me to realize how much anxiety I have had over not being in control, over vulnerability. And a lot of people who I know who have their own businesses say, you know, the first year is pretty rough. You know, the first year, maybe 2 years might be pretty rough. You know, you may not get support from people you think you're going to get support from. You may have events and nobody shows up, or, you know, you may be running a page and not have a huge following. But, you know, despise not the small beginnings, you know. It doesn't always stay that way. You know, it may be that one person who really needs your help that you have to be there to reach out to. So don't get discouraged, especially if you're in a service industry. Don't get discouraged about participation, because that one moment you decide to give up, it'll be that person who really needs your service who doesn't get it. Because that's what it's all about, is being there for somebody, is giving somebody the support they need, showing somebody it can be done, giving them the courage or the motivation they need to push past their current situation and say, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. I also wanted to talk about letting go of control. Is also something that I have had to digest in this service industry, because part of being in the service industry and dealing with where I am in life is addiction. A lot of times people don't realize they have an addiction. They just see a pattern of behavior, but a pattern of behavior usually stems from some type of addiction or trauma. And I've had this week to digest the fact that even if people come to you for help, and you push and you push and you push, they may not be ready to receive it. They may not be willing to do the work. And it's hard when you want to be helpful and you want to see someone's life improve and they're not willing. But my dad told me, you can't want more for somebody than what they want for themselves. And I've been so focused on being a light, wanting to help people, wanting to see them do better, that I'm pushing for them to do things they're not ready to do. So I've had that moment of serve and be willing and be open and give, but don't push. Put the food on the table And if they decide to eat, then they eat. And if they don't eat, then you can put it back in the refrigerator. And then there'll be that person who's hungry and comes and they're ready and willing with their fork and their knife and they're ready to go to town. And those are the people that you're going to be there for. And I have people who I'm working with who are willing and who are open, and they're already getting results and already seeing changes. And I'm so happy just to see people who were like me when I started. I was afraid, I was confused, I didn't know what to do, but I had good leadership, I had good guidance, and I had people who loved me enough to work with me through those things. So one of the things that we talked about in the personal training certification was, you know, riding through that resistance. That you're going to get resistance sometimes. You're going to get people who say they want help, but they may be ambivalent. They may not be ready. They may not be in that stage of the change model, you know, where they're ready to make the changes. They're just thinking about it. So you have to be patient with them. You have to be patient with yourself. You have to be available to give the love, but you don't have to force it down their throats. You know, give them an opportunity. So it's just today's lesson is patience and gratitude, seeing what is positive versus what's negative, and just going for shooting for greatness, you know, just shooting for improvement, not necessarily perfection. Nothing happens overnight, and my process may not be your process. It's taken me 6 years to figure out what I can eat. It's taken me 6 years to figure out what works for my body as far as diet and exercise, and I knew, but I was resistant to it. So then I can't be impatient with somebody else who's resistant to the same things. I wanted to eat and have fun and live my life, but you know, I realized now that this is my life. I just had to make the changes and adjust to it. So check out my blog. I've got a blog, I've got a website, so I'll post some links and let me know what you think.